As the main character of your life, you know how important it is to make the right choices for you, and how sweet it is to feel good about your decisions. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options to help create an affordable price for you, so you can continue living your best life. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Who says luxury has to come with a steep price tag? Quince brings you hotel-quality sheets and linens without the markup. From breathable bamboo bedding to spa-worthy bath towels, Quince makes every corner of your home look and feel luxurious. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Upgrade your home for less at Quince. Go to quince.com/home upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/home upgrade.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today.
A new era of power has arrived with the Alienware Area 51 gaming laptops, intentionally engineered to push more power to the CPU and GPU for maximum performance. This otherworldly power, paired with the game-changing AI capabilities of Nvidia GeForce RTX 50 series GPUs with DLSS4, amplifies performance and image precision for ultra-smooth, stunning gameplay. And with the new cryo chamber design, airflow is focused exactly where it's needed most. Fused with Alienware's enhanced thermal solutions, it creates a higher power output without raising noise levels, allowing you to play with confidence even during the most demanding marathon gaming sessions. So no matter what you are playing, Alienware ensures every game runs precisely as its developers intended. A new era of power is here. All you have to do is take it. Discover Area 51 today at alienware.com.
This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. We tell you what you need to know, follow up on the context of those stories, and help each other understand.
Today, good news for Nvidia and AMD as they get the go-ahead to sell their limited chips to Chinese companies. The H20's back, baby.
Oh, yeah. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Tom Merritt.
Let's start with what you need to know, the big story. Oh, yeah. I just envisioned, what was it? The
Kool-Aid?
The Kool-Aid guy bursting through the Nvidia
Jensen
walls.
Huang as the Kool-Aid guy.
Right. Nvidia and AMD have been given the green light from the U.S. government. It probably tastes a little like lime or something like that. To resume some of their AI chip sales in China. This is, of course, a reversal of the U.S. presidential administration's restrictions that have barred shipments to the country. Nvidia can now export its H20 AI accelerator chip that was originally designed to comply with earlier trade curbs. AMD will activate shipments of its MI308 chips to China once its sales licenses are approved. Nvidia, of course, stands to restore billions in revenue with the reversal. So you can imagine that CEO Jensen Huang is very, very happy today. He's called the U.S. chips curb in the past a failure that paved the way for Chinese companies like Huawei to accelerate their growth in AI chips. Huang is currently in China and has a media briefing scheduled for July 16th. So yeah, big about face.
I got a little inkling about what might happen at that media briefing. It's July 16th in China, so it's actually later today. So it may have already happened by the time a lot of people listen to this. But they announced in April that they had a Blackwell version of the H20, which I guess would be a B20, perhaps, and that they would be ready to announce that. And then, of course, new restrictions on the H20 went into effect. And so they put that off. So I wonder if maybe we're going to get that announcement. Huang has been really working it hard. Last week, he was at Mar-a-Lago talking to the president. This week, he's in Beijing, buddying up to the Chinese government, doing everything he can to get this underway. We talked yesterday about him saying, like, hey, the Chinese military is not going to use these chips anyway because they're not going to trust them. They're not going to trust that they're going to keep coming, so they're not going to want to build a military design that relies on them. Plus, he sort of implied that, they're coming from the U.S., so blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this is really fascinating. And I did a little deep dive on the H20 in case people were like, well, what's the big difference? Why would they want broken chips? These aren't broken chips. They're just designed to have lower memory bandwidth and interconnect bandwidth, but they're actually optimized for inference and more power efficient than the H100 that companies outside of China can get. So you get a little bit of an advantage on the power draw, and you get a really good chip that can run a model. You just can't train a model. And I think that's what the U.S. is most concerned with, is keeping China from keeping pace with the training.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting. Yeah. Sometimes the differences between these different levels have been kind of confusing to me. One thing I wonder about this is this is just a symptom of the time that we live in. Anytime I read something like this or hear the news, I'm like, yeah, so today that's true. Everything seems to be a moving target. Let's just say
you mean as far as like the ability for Nvidia to continue to sell these chips?
Yeah. It's kind of like I've got thumbs up for Nvidia. This is certainly something they've been working hard, and they have stand obviously to gain a lot. So does AMD, of course. But man, the winds of change shift dramatically and suddenly, and I can't help but feel that everything that we hear of right now related to this is for now in quotations.
100%. Wall Street Journal actually published an opinion piece. Well, I don't know if it was an opinion piece actually, but it was sort of an analysis piece right before we sat down to record. It basically said exactly that. Nvidia, good job for now. Who knows if it'll stick around and for how long? So
let's see how you feel tomorrow when you wake up and things change entirely. Not that there's any news that that's happening, but
no,
would we be surprised at all?
And Nvidia can weather that, as we have seen. Yeah. Nvidia can weather that. They would prefer not to. They would prefer, especially because they probably made a bunch of these H20s and then couldn't sell them because nobody else wants them worldwide. People would rather have, even if they're optimized for less power draw and inference, they don't have as much wide use. So if you have the choice, companies generally prefer to buy something else. And the AMD MI308, just as a matter of completing the circle, is also designed for high performance computing tasks like the H20. So it's the same kind of thing. Nobody outside of China is going to buy those.
Interesting. All right. Well, good news for Nvidia. Good news for you, AMD. And it remains to be seen how long this remains good news.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Well, thanks to the folks who make this show possible, our listeners, our patrons. Thank you, Reed Fischler, Larry Bailey, Michelle Sergiu, and we got a new patron, Dragon King.
Oh, yeah.
Bring in the Dragon King.
I know.
Picture this. You're in the garage, hands covered in grease, just finished up tuning your engine with a part you found on eBay, and you realize, you know what? I could also use new brakes. So where do you go next? Back to eBay. You can find anything there. It's unreal. Wipers, headlights, even cold air intakes. It's all there. And you've got eBay Guaranteed Fit. You order a part, and if it doesn't fit, send it back. Simple as that. Look, DIY fixes can be major. Doesn't matter if it's just maintenance or a major mod. You got it, especially when things are guaranteed to fit. So when you dive into your next car project, start with eBay. All the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love.
I'm no tech genius, but I knew if I wanted my business to crush it, I needed a website now. Thankfully, Bluehost made it easy. I customized, optimized, and monetized everything exactly how I wanted with AI. In minutes, my site was up. I couldn't believe it. The search engine tools even helped me get more site visitors. Whatever your passion project is, you can set it up with Bluehost. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, what have you got to lose? Head to Bluehost.com to start now.
Epic views, waterfall mists, Summit sunsets. It's all better outside. And with All Trails, you can discover the best of nature with over 450,000 trails around the world. Download the free app today and find your next adventure.
Hey, it's Maya and Sim from the Girls That Invest podcast. If you are an IT or security pro, you know managing devices, identities, and applications can feel overwhelming and honestly risky. That's where Trellica by 1Password comes in. It helps conquer SaaS sprawl and shadow IT by discovering every app your team uses, managed or not. With pre-built app profiles, you can assess risk, manage access, and even optimize your software spend. Plus, it simplifies onboarding, offboarding, and compliance, all while cutting costs by eliminating unused licenses. Take the first step to better security for your team. Learn more at onepassword.com/special offer.
Hey guys, it's Hannah from Giggly Squad. You know I love beauty, and that's why I go to Sephora. It's not just shopping, it's like a glam experience. The beauty advisors actually get beauty, unlike those big box stores, and they give me all the advice I need. And I love going with the products you can only find at Sephora, like my new favorite Kayali fragrance, my perfect shade of House Labs foundation, and finally restocked my Laneige lip mask. All with the help of real experts. Oh, and if you haven't tried Days shampoo, go try it. It's a game changer. Sephora isn't just a store, it's the beauty destination. Go. You'll thank me later.
There's more we need to know today. Let's get to the briefs.
Cognition AI is a startup known for its code generation assistant. Cursor competitors is kind of the generic way I think most people think of them. And you're going to be confused by this, folks, if you're not following it real closely. But Cognition just acquired Windsurf. No word on the financials of the deal, and you may go like, wait, didn't Google just buy Windsurf? No, they just bought all the people who worked at Windsurf. Well, not all, and not even all the people. Not
everyone.
Yeah, just the R&D team and some of the executives. That was a $2.4 billion deal, and they also get a license to Windsurf's technology, which presumably will continue under Cognition's ownership. Cognition's leadership, of course, shared their admiration for Windsurf's capabilities and the staff, and said that all the remaining Windsurf employees now have a financial stake in the new structure with Cognition. Vesting cliffs have been waived, so full vesting of staff equity to this point. So they're treating the Windsurf employees well. And I guess they have a built-in contract with Google now because they acquired what was left of Windsurf.
And you got to wonder, inside those walls, what a whiplash week it's been for those employees that they're now looking at, like the value of what they potentially could have had and where they're at now. And is it worth it to them? There's probably a lot of people asking them that question themselves.
I think this is probably, this reminds me of a three-way trade in sports, where I'm certain Cognition lined up to buy the remains of Windsurf was part of the deal when Google said, we'll hire the founders and the R&D team. We'll get a license to Windsurf. Cognition will buy the other part. We'll keep that deal going. That allows Windsurf's employees to all cash out because they all get vested. So potentially everybody wins.
And so why would they stay if that was in the makings prior, if that was true, which I guess we don't know whether it was or not, but one can assume, why wouldn't they make this full announcement yesterday then? Why is it a staggered thing? Is it
that's a good question. There could be a lot of reasons for that. It may be that Cognition didn't want their acquisition to get lost in the shuffle, with everybody focusing on the Google side of it. So give it a couple of days for all those stories to get written about how OpenAI got shafted in the deal. And then Cognition can kind of step in and look like a white knight, saving everybody. That's a reason. There could be others.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Reddit has begun verifying the ages of its UK users before allowing access to mature content on the platform. This is, of course, in compliance with the country's Online Safety Act. Verification will be handled by Persona. That requires users to submit either a selfie or a photo of their government-issued ID. Reddit has assured users that they will only store the verification status and birth date that was submitted The photos, they say, will not be stored, at least by Reddit. Persona, on the other hand, is going to retain the photos, excuse me, but only for 7 days. And then they will get rid of them, I guess. Ofcom, UK's regulator, expects other platforms to follow. They're also warning about possible enforcement actions if they do not. So this is kind of a sign of things to come.
Yeah, this is a big test of this kind of system because the objections have always been that it's not terribly accurate and it's rife with the possibility for personal data to be misused or breached. I do believe Reddit when they're like, all we need to store is, for the purposes of UK law. Yes, this was verified by Persona, and here's the birth date they verified, and so we know whether they're of age or not. And then it's up to Persona to handle all the rest of it. And that's the way it should work. A lot of questions on whether, it's smart to have one company be doing all of this, how easy it is to game this system, because you are dealing with photos and they have fraud detection, but nothing's perfect. And how much how much all of this is doing good? Like how much of this is really worth it?
Yeah. Does it actually accomplish the goal or is it theater, which some people would probably say it's a little bit of that too. So,
yeah. Google has agreed to a $3 billion deal with Brookfield's renewable arm to access hydroelectric power over the next 20 years. We hear a lot about nuclear power, but also some water power here. This would give Google up to 670 megawatts of power for 2 major Pennsylvania facilities, with the possible expansion to as many as 3 gigawatts with future upgrades. This is the largest hydropower purchase of its kind, and it comes at a time when tech companies like Google are trying everything to figure out how to get enough power to keep its data centers running while meeting environmental commitments that the companies have publicly set for themselves.
Yeah, both very big priorities and very necessary. I don't think that the needs or the energy, not like the renewable energy, but the actual interest type of energy goes away with AI anytime soon. And with that comes a huge environmental impact, a need to power and cool and everything around all of these data centers. So this is important. I think tapping into hydroelectric power is a really valuable resource to explore on a deeper level. I love this.
Yeah, I know there's trust in tech executives and companies are at an all-time low. And so you may look at this and go, I don't trust it. It's probably got a bad downside. It's probably going to keep Pennsylvanians from being able to access cheap power, and they're going to get their rates raised. And those are all legitimate criticisms. However, if a company was going to do it right, this is what it would look like. So, to me, I'm like, okay, you may be right about the worst possible implications of this, but if it's the best possible implications, this is what the best possible would look like. So I don't want to discount it out of hand.
Yeah, indeed. Chinese car maker BYD announced Tuesday that it launched a smartphone car connectivity feature across its models. It sounds like a competitor for Android Auto, also CarPlay. The feature is compatible with many different kinds of phones, Huawei, Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo, just to name a few.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing that is important domestically in China for BYD to do. I'm not sure what kind of implication, if any, it has outside in Europe and places like that. Although Oppo and Vivo and even Xiaomi sell very well in Europe. Huawei's been making a comeback too. So, possibly something that could be used there. But I think mostly an implication for BYD being able to serve its Chinese customers.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Apple has reached a deal to buy rare earth minerals from a U.S.-based source, MP Materials Corporation. This is the only rare earth mine operator in the United States. They recently received Department of Defense support, so it's something that's probably going to stay in business. The mine is operated out in the eastern part of Southern California in Mountain Pass. Companies will build a factory in Fort Worth, Texas, to take the rare earths from California and make neodymium magnets for Apple products. there are millions of uses for these magnets. Any device, look around, look to your left, look to your right. You have a device with neodymium magnets in them. Headphones, the phones, all kinds of things. Shipments should begin in 2027. Jason's holding up all of the devices he has that has these magnets in them. And he can't fit them in his hands. So they're gonna source these, from Mountain Pass. They're gonna manufacture the magnets in Fort Worth, Texas, and begin giving them to Apple to put into products in 2027. The companies also have a plan to develop a rare earth recycling line in Mountain Pass. So not only being able to take the rare earths out of the ground, but also be able to process materials to reuse them. And possibly even make some novel processes and novel magnet materials that would have new uses.
Okay. Moving more of this stuff, into the U.S., kind of economy and everything certainly makes certain people in Washington, D.C.
It's a way for Apple to say we made things in the U.S.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So that's a big part of this. It's, Mountain Pass doesn't make a large percentage of the world's rare earths available, but it's something. And the recycling part of this I find intriguing if they can really get that to work.
Yeah. The information sources say that ByteDance's Pico is working on mixed reality goggles designed to let you see digital objects layered over the real world. Pico already makes VR headsets like the Pico 4. Those are competitors with headsets like Meta's Quest. These new goggles would be lighter weight. They'd connect to a puck that you keep in your pocket. Meta, Apple, Google, Samsung, Xreal, and many more companies are all working on similar devices. Makes sense that ByteDance would want to get into the game too.
Should we call 2026 the year of the AR glasses or mixed reality MR glasses?
I mean, I think that remains to be seen. I think that, this is yet another one of those trends that has been knocking on the door for kind of seemingly like at least the last couple of years, but, depending on how far you go back a decade. Is next year the year where this becomes big enough to be a mainstream product? I'm still not entirely convinced of that, but I think that we'll start to see more options and more capabilities. And I'm interested, as a technology fan, I'm interested in what that development looks like.
I think when I say the year of, I mean it in the sense that Time magazine named Hitler Man of the Year. In other words, he had a big impact. Doesn't mean he was the best. When I say 2026 will be the year of smart glasses, it's the year everybody's going to come out with one that
they all have one.
This is the one.
And now what?
This is the one that shows images in your field of view, and you can buy it. We'll see how they work. I assume they'll be better than Time's Man of the Year that I mentioned.
Yeah, I would certainly hope so. That's not, you don't want to be comparing yourself there.
Nope.
But I mean, I did have firsthand experience with Project Astra. And I can tell you that was a pretty remarkable product. As a technology fan, that was pretty cool to witness and experience, in my demo. And so I see true potential here. It looks like, I'll be very curious to compare the capabilities of the Astra glasses to some of these other, companies' output and to kind of see how they compare. I just don't know how mainstream these things are going to get immediately. I think it's going to take time.
Yeah. And to the story here, ByteDance's Pico, probably not going to be available for us domestically.
No, of course not.
But we'll be a competitor on the world stage.
Mm-hmm.
8BitDo released the Pro 3, a new version of its wireless Pro controller with drift-resistant TMR tech in the control sticks. TMR stands for tunneling magneto-resistance. It's a technology that can avoid the physical wear of traditional control sticks without the high power use and the cost of Hall effect sensors. It also lets you swap the arrangement of the ABXY buttons. Well, TMR doesn't do that. I just mean the Pro 3 has swappable buttons, so you can adapt it to the system you're using. The 8BitDo Pro 3 costs $70. So it's a little more expensive than the previous version, which I think was more like 50. Has a 1,000 milliamp hour non-removable battery that they say could play games for up to 20 hours on a charge. And you can use it while it's connected to USB and charge while you play. You can order it now, and it starts shipping on August 12th.
I might actually order this. So our garage has been, converted from my wife's work area to like the kids' hangout den. And so my arcade cabinet, my MAME arcade cabinet that, a friend / fan of my work at TWIT helped me build. He was a woodworker, Diami Plotke. He was amazing. He helped me build this MAME cabinet, and it had a Raspberry Pi 3 in it. And so I've been revitalizing it. I put a 5 in there just last night, with maxed memory and everything, and I'm kind of putting a great image on it and everything. And I do need some solid controllers. Like I've got the whole arcade setup for the standard arcade thing, but if I'm playing like console games, I want to kind of upgrade the controllers. So this might be it.
Yeah, and this is pretty cross-platform. You can use it over Bluetooth or with a 2.4 gigahertz dongle. So it's the kind of thing you want. Sounds like.
Yeah, totally, and not horribly expensive either. $70 is not too bad.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
Monday, you and Rob told everyone about Google president of Android, Samir Samat's statement to Tech Radar's Lance Ulanoff about merging Chrome OS and Android. Big news, I thought. Enough people got excited by the news that Samat posted on X, quote, "Great to see so much interest in this topic. To reiterate what we announced in our 2024 blog post, we're building the Chrome OS experience on top of Android underlying technology to unlock new levels of performance, iterate faster, and make your laptop and phone work better together. I'm excited about it," end quote. That's the post from June of last year that said Chrome OS would begin to include portions of the Android stack, this is in quotes, like the Android Linux kernel and Android frameworks as part of the foundation of Chrome OS. So this is the sort of thing where like, okay, we've been seeing hints of this. Google has, whether anyone was listening or not, address this directly. Maybe we have short-term memory and everything, but they're basically saying like, yes, these things are merging, but Chrome OS is not going away. It's not like suddenly their laptops are turning into Android laptops. It's kind of a combined thing, but they are kind of merging a lot of the technology that makes them work.
Yeah. You want to know what I think is going on here? This is there's a media trainer at Google who's mad right now.
Yeah. Samir, come on.
And Samir is like, no, but this is what I was thinking. Here's what I think happened. Because we mentioned that June blog post yesterday. We're like, and the take that we had, Thurrott.com had this, was, Google announced in June last year that they intend to combine these stacks, that they're working on that. And then they haven't said anything since. So this is the first time we've heard somebody confirm, like, yeah, we're doing that. And that's news. I think in Samat's mind, he was like, I'm just saying what we said last June, right? It's like, we already told you, and that's the engineering mindset. Like, I told you once, and I'm not saying anything has changed. I'm just acknowledging like, yes, like we told you last June, we are working on these. So I'm very interested in blah, blah, blah. And of course, Lance, being a great journalist, was like, that's news. And so Samat's like, no, I didn't say anything new. But it's the silence, right? It's the fact that Google hadn't really talked publicly about that. And maybe they have even talked publicly, but not in ways that were picked up by the news.
And not directly. I mean, this was a pretty direct quote, direct reference. Pretty impossible to a storied journalist like Lance,
who's got an audience at Tech Radar. So, it just gets picked up more. So yeah, that's why I think a media trainer is like, no, Samir, we talked about this. You have to phrase these things a little differently because they're going to get picked up and this is what happens. And Samat's like, no, but I didn't say anything that wasn't in that June post. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, folks, if you would like to try to prod Jason and I into saying things publicly that will cause news, you can do so in our Discord, which you can join by linking your Patreon account. Just become a patron at patreon.com/DTNS.
Hi, I'm Adam Grant, host of the podcast Work Life. For over 20 years, Paylocity has been simplifying work with innovative solutions that teams love, like on-demand payment, which offers employees access to wages prior to payday. Flexible time tracking features, which enable staff to clock in and out through their mobile device. And numerous other cutting-edge solutions that simplify collaboration across HR, finance, and IT. Learn more about how Paylocity can help streamline work and enhance business outcomes for your organization at paylocity.com/simplified.
Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. That's why a State Farm agent is there to help you choose a coverage option that's right for you. Whether you're getting a new house, car, boat, or RV, helping protect it is important. And State Farm is there to help you choose the coverage you need, whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app. And with so many coverage options, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs, so you can continue to focus on what's most important to you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And we end every episode of DTNS with some shared wisdom. Today, that Charlie dude, that one right there, is helping us understand.
Yeah, that Charlie dude heard us talk about the prompt injection attack against Gmail. Did you hear about this, Jason?
Yeah, I did. This is a crazy story.
Yeah, so if you missed that yesterday, folks, they hid an instruction in the text of an email by making it white and small. The instruction would tell Gemini to put a malicious message like, your password has been compromised, call this number, and then they try to phish your password. Charlie writes, your recent coverage of the attack reminded me of a technique some educators have been using to detect AI-generated student work. About a year ago, I heard about instructors hiding the phrase Frankenstein banana in assignment directions using a small font with white text that matches the background. When students copy and paste the entire prompt into generative AI, the hidden text gets included in their work, making it easier to search for and prove AI usage. Do you think the attackers behind this Gmail exploit might have seen those educational videos and adapted the technique for malicious purposes? Love the show. Y'all rock. That Charlie dude. Also, Anon Jr. Alluded to this as well in a post on Patreon.
Yeah, that's crazy, but makes a heck of a lot of sense. I mean, it's the sort of thing that, it's kind of like a hack for humans. It's like, we aren't going to know to look into this, to know that there's something there. I have to imagine that future processes are going to, like AI is always training. It's always working. At this point, these kinds of tricks are known about. And so will they just become impervious to these little hidden tricks? Because it's like, oh yeah, that's what they're implementing now. Let's, we have to mitigate
that. And by the way, that Charlie dude said the attackers behind this exploit, and I want to hasten to remind folks that this was done by researchers. This was not something that was in the wild. This was researchers who found like, oh, we can make this work. And they told Google about it responsibly. Actually, they got a Mozilla bug bounty for it because they submitted it through the Mozilla because it works in the browser. So this was not something that was out there in the wild being exploited. These were not attackers. These were researchers, which is good. That's what you want. You want people to be able to figure this out that way. And I think you're right. I think they probably saw that teachers were doing this and were like, I wonder if we can get Gmail to do that, So I think that's quite likely, Charlie. Good thought.
Yeah, indeed. What are you thinking about? If you have insight into a story, you don't need to color it white so that, our AI picks up on it that we do or do not use. Share it with us. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. Big thanks to that Charlie dude for contributing to today's show. And thank you for being along for Daily Tech News Show. You can keep us in business by becoming a patron. Just go to patreon.com/DTNS. That's all you got to do. We'll see you next time.
The DTNS family of podcasts, helping each other understand.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Hey guys, it's Hannah from Giggly Squad. You know I love beauty, and that's why I go to Sephora. It's not just shopping, it's like a glam experience. The beauty advisors actually get beauty, unlike those big box stores, and they give me all the advice I need. And I love going with the products you can only find at Sephora, like my new favorite Kayali fragrance, my perfect shade of House Labs foundation, and finally restocked my Laneige lip mask. All with the help of real experts. Oh, and if you haven't tried Days shampoo, go try it. It's a game changer. Sephora isn't just a store, it's the beauty destination. Go. You'll thank me later.
As the main character of your life, you know how important it is to make the right choices for you and how sweet it is to feel good about your decisions. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options to help create an affordable price for you, so you can continue living your best life. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.